Not getting out of this one. All right, welcome guys. Welcome to the WBC Women's Summit. This is amazing to see because the last time I've been with many of the champions and you ladies when I first met you was the WBC Women's Convention in the Philippines. So for me to be sitting here moderating you about women in the amateurs is a pleasure. So thank you everyone that has attended. Thank you for staying because I know it's a long day, but you guys are gonna party later. So on the panel with me to my very left, we have Martha the Shadow Salazar, the very first WBC Women's Heavyweight World Champion. Also the third Hispanic to become a heavyweight world champion in all of boxing history. And she started Beautiful Brawlers with Blanca Gutierrez and Lupe Gutierrez. They are the sisters. Lupe is Boxing Meets Beauty, co-owner of Babyface Boxing Training Center, and does media and fundraiser for Beautiful Brawlers. Her sister to my left is Blanca Gutierrez, co-owner of Babyface Boxing Training Center, Beautiful Brawlers, which is an all-female promotion company. So all you ladies out there that are looking for a promoter, female-based, go talk to these ladies. And she is also a USA Boxing High Performance Coach. To my right. I always ask you, what is your title? You're like, so I'm gonna just say this. You said yesterday you have a lot of hats, which you do. She is what I would call a Swiss Army knife. She does everything. She fixes everything. She puts fires out. If you need logistics, marketing, PR, she is your go-to girl. She is your biggest supporter. She is your biggest cheerleader, and she has been mine since the very beginning. I get very teary-eyed because from the very beginning. You're the reason why I'm here for the WBC. So Nancy Rodriguez, Supreme Boxing, WBC, she's everything. Okay, you guys ready? Wait, give a round of applause to the ladies, please. Because I'm gonna be asking very, tough questions. They're not gonna be easy, but you just talk about it in your experience in the women's amateur program. It doesn't matter who's gonna speak. Can either one of you discuss the WBC's role in the inclusion and development of women boxing over the years?
The WBC has been very helpful with the formation of the Beautiful Brawlers. When we decided to do the Beautiful Brawlers, it was 2011, and I decided at that point I would never give up on women's boxing because everybody else had. And then the following year, women were in the Olympics. So what the WBC has done for us is when we created our platform and we started growing, we went to the WBC, we went to Jill, and we asked her for any assistance, and she was right there available for us. Open heart, open hand, and we really appreciated it, and it's been a relationship ever since that's been incredible. One thing that helped us out, though, was Martha Salazar was the WBC heavyweight champion of the world, so we use that as our go-to, our beginning, and from there, it's been a beautiful relationship.
Being a sister?
She's said it all.
She said it all?
She really has, because the WBC has been behind our backs, and now just listening to how they feel about men in our sport, I feel like they really have our backs now.
And then Martha, since you were the first heavyweight world champion for WBC, and you've been in boxing obviously much longer than most of these ladies, how has it changed for you and the differences?
Oh my God, it's been, I've been wanting to win the WBC for sure. I've won the awards like 4 times, and I couldn't win it. And I retired, came back, and I finally got the WBC, and it's been an incredible journey with the WBC, as you know, with Blanca, with the Beautiful Brawlers that have helped us in anything we needed it, and they're always supporting us as women. So it's been incredible, and I know we're still gonna have more to do with them. So thank you.
Nancy.
Can I say one thing? She fought Von der Ward, and she was robbed in Ohio, but we did a lot with that loss. It was a learn, but you learn that things aren't fair, but the WBC was still a belt that we never gave up on, but she was robbed in Ohio. I just want to make that clear.
Period.
That's why she's my manager and friend.
Nancy, how has the representation of women in boxing changed globally and within the WBC?
Globally, it's amazing. I want to go back to what you first said. I wanted to talk about the amateurs. Mia St. John said something so important earlier today when she called Sugar Ray Leonard. What do I do? What do I do after boxing? I'm 100% sure that everybody sitting in these chairs right now is here because they have a passion for boxing. You know, passion to help each other. When Mauricio decided to start the WBC LA office, he just said, him and his family just said, here's an office. I'm like, so what do we do? What do we do? Where do we go? And Dr. Rudy Tellez came with one of, so Don Jose Sulaiman had a lot of dreams. You always hear Mauricio saying the Grand Prix was his dream, the amateur. He had tons of dreams that hopefully one day we get to hear a movie about everything he dreamed. But one of his biggest dreams was helping the amateurs, legit, no cost, free. Slowly, Pepe Sulaiman, Ceci, Lena, Albert, Hector, everybody, we the Greenbelt Challenge started, and it became a passion. And to help the kids, you don't even understand. That became our passion. Every year, we looked forward to that Greenbelt Challenge. That Mia St. John, you went there. You awarded kids with the belt. Barbie Juarez, I don't know if you're still here. Like so many, and that went global. That went to Mexico, that went to Brazil, that went to all over the US. So that became the passion for WBC LA office for us to go. So okay. I don't know if you want to ask me what impact, I don't know. I guess it doesn't focus on women, but we as the Greenbelt Challenge decided to do 50-50. Not only guys, not only boys, like we started with one belt for the girls, and the boys would get like 3, and then we went half and half. Okay. Same for everybody. Okay. Equality.
Can I add something?
Of course.
So the WBC having that Green Belt Challenge in LA, we're in San Francisco. When they had those, I drove out from San Francisco to get to that Green Belt Challenge, to meet the girls that I correspond with all the time on social media, and I got to watch Perla Balsadua versus Maya Hernandez on that fight. And that's what they do, having those in LA. I mean, we can just jump in our car and come. So thank you, WBC Amateur.
Okay, well, I'm going to skip over since now we're really into the amateur program. Ladies, what are the key milestones in the WBC women's amateur program's growth from when you guys started till what you see now?
The growth in the amateurs has gone into the Olympics. The Olympics has grown a lot for Clarissa Shields, Michaela Mayer, Marlena Esparza, Queen Underwood. I mean, the list is big, bigger than before. The talent pools are still small, but they're growing. And so what the WBC has done is help to actually launch that, because now all these women have created a floor as far as financially, I believe, in the pros. Michaela, Clarissa, Sanisha Estrada, who's not an Olympian, but made a big difference, Marlena Esparza, they've created, I would say, almost a floor of compensation. I don't know what the matchmakers or the promoters will say, but it's more credibility. And what somebody else said here yesterday was credibility is your currency, and I believe that their skill set, that the amateurs have grown, people have taken, trainers have taken the women to another level. Coach G and I, Coach Gloria, were at the USA Boxing Camp together. I got to meet her and really have a deep respect for her, because even as coaches, it almost seemed like we were never good enough, but we knew we were good enough. And those of us who stuck together and have a belief in female boxing will take it to the top no matter what. Same with Christy Martin. The day that Christy Martin showed up to Beautiful Brawlers was the day I knew we did it. And there will never be another day like that for me, because when you have people like that, champions like that show up, and I always had Martha by my side, but when we have Christy Martin show up, it made a huge difference. Sue Fox made a difference. And Jill, I can't say enough about Jill and Nancy, who's done so much in putting us out there. and we really appreciate that. It takes a team, it takes a village.
It does. It does. Now, how does the WBC support women in boxing at the amateur level compared to the professional level?
I think it's just about the same. I mean, it's just on one of them, on the professionally, you get paid. On the other one, you don't. But I think once you become a WBC, it's a family, and they accept you the way you are. It doesn't matter who you are, and they're always positive, and they always try to support, the women, and so yeah.
Nancy, because you work very closely with the females from, you've known them since the amateur days, and now you've seen them pro and now sometimes undisputed. What have you seen?
I mean, the way we feel when we see fighters like, I don't know if she's here, Roxy Verduzco, that we've known her since she was like this little, and then now being signed and becoming a superstar in boxing.
Signed with 360 Promotion.
Signed with Tom Loeffler. Seeing Perla Basaldua just getting signed to Top Rank.
Yeah.
Christina, you had her last week at the Top Rank press conference. So many of the Greenbelt Challenge winners that I'm not even going to focus just on the women, because Carlos Valderas, Cristek Basaldua, but the women, to see them getting signed to big promoters and getting opportunities, and knowing that with the WBC, they have an open door policy. Like they can call us, they can, probably the majority of them have Mauricio's WhatsApp, and his messages are just going crazy, but they message us if they need something, we're there. So I think the women, the girls, knowing that we're in their corner, and Pepe always says that, remember, we're always in your corner. I think that gives them a little bit of a, hey, somebody's got my back. And maybe it gives them a little bit more confidence to take that step and that next challenge, because we got them.
You just mentioned challenge, and this is one of the reasons why we have a women's summit, because we have challenges, we have barriers with the shift of boxing. Now, what unique challenges do women in boxing face in terms of training, opportunities, and media coverage? We are in that social media technology age, so what are the challenges some of these women are facing, some of the women that you're working with right now?
Well, there's a lot of challenges, but sometimes I don't want to talk about the challenges. I want to talk about the opportunities, because just Martha and I alone right now, we're bringing over to Vegas with us a girl who's in the youth camp, Milian Sanchez, who is a 176-pounder. She's 16 years old, and we brought her here to take part in this beautiful event because it's going to make a difference. We saw Juju this morning from Center Ring, and she sparred with our girl, and she's a pro. There was another pro last night, Elia from Florida. And then today I walked into seeing Gloria, Coach G, with all these beautiful fighters, and Roxy, Acosta, Jocelyn. So to see all this happen, is a major milestone. So talk about the challenges. Well, we could do that all day long, but we're conquering those challenges. So I just find them opportunities now more than challenges.
I agree with you. This is right here, just being at the WBC Women's Summit is an opportunity, because I've met a lot of female fighters that are not signed, and they just want to be in front of these promoters, in front of these fighters, in front of Christy Martin and Mia St. John, just to have the exposure. And you never know what you're going to soak up and learn from them. Just that little piece of advice that they hear from all these conversations from yesterday and today, that is helping answer these challenges.
Can I add to that?
Of course.
So I feel like the WBC Greenbelt also overlaps with Beautiful Brawlers, because we have so many girls who, like Jocelyn Camarillo, she's a young pro, she was a Beautiful Brawlers champ, now she's like a 3-0, and she also fought for a WBC belt, I believe, under Tom Loeffler. There's also Roxy Verduzco. She was one of our Beautiful Brawlers of the Year, and she's like a 22-time national champion or something like that. And then Perla Balzadua, who we've known her since she was 8. That's when she won her first Beautiful Brawlers belt, and that was a 4-time champ. And now here, I mean, it just overlaps. And there's also girls who, although they're not involved, like say Jenna Creason, she's like, I think she was a Beautiful Brawlers champ 3-0, not a green belt amateur champ, but she not only was, I think it was 2020, she was a USA national champion, and the same year she was a California state wrestling champion. So that she's future world champion. So even though she doesn't overlap now, she'll probably be WBC champion. There's also an Ellie Salinas here. She just had her first pro fight last weekend. She's like 1-0. So there's all juju. There's a lot of overlap, and when they don't overlap, the WBC is in their future.
Everybody wants a WBC green belt.
It is the coveted belt. It is a coveted belt.
And that's why the Green Belt Challenge is so important, and I really hope that that USA Boxing and WBC can come to an agreement and we can start doing them again, because
Is it not in effect right now?
as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to put, I don't know, I'm not sure, but we want to have more shows.
Mauricio?
That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother
Oh.
conversation. But what I want to talk about is the past experiences, just them knowing that they're fighting for or boxing for green and gold is a whole nother experience. And knowing that their families can come support free, knowing that they get gifts, they get everything, they get medals, and the whole experience is just amazing for these amateurs.
Can I add to that? Also, the WBC has shown us that how to be safe as a woman, as a girl in this field of boxing, and how to keep safe, because there's some shady people out there that would take advantage of the girls or the women, so that's why the WBC is incredible with the amateurs too.
I was just going, did you want to touch on that?
I just want to say I agree with Christy that 2-minute rounds. 2-minute rounds are what amateurs fight, and then they go to 3-minute rounds as youth and elites. But if you're going to get the same amount of money for 2-minute rounds and you're going to stay safer, like, we're big advocates on that too, Christy. We believe in that 100%, and we believed in that. The first WBC we went to, the event had a doctor there and told us the differences. So we were not only educated by the WBC, we take the same values as them, and we want to proceed the same way they do, because we believe in the WBC, the Federation, Mauricio, and everything that they've built.
Now, we're not going to call them challenges, but how can the sport of boxing continue to overcome these barriers and challenges with different opportunities and attract more females in participating in boxing?
Can I start?
Go for it.
Well, on my end, it's the social media, and it all started with Beautiful Brawlers. I started an amateur platform to talk about all those girls, but then it goes further than that. Those girls have friends that haven't been on the show. You just start talking about as many amateurs as you can, because eventually, let's say I started that in 2017, so now it's 2024. A lot of those amateurs are now pros. So once you talk about the amateurs and keep talking about them, by the time they're pros, everyone knows who Roxy is, everyone knows who Jenna is, everyone knows who Valerie Rodriguez, she's a #2 in the country right now, she's still amateur. They're going to know who she is. They're going to know who Juju is. So that's where I think, that's what I love to do, to get them, you know who they are by that time they turn pro.
I agree 100%. I also think that we need to support each other. The stories on your Instagram, they last, 24 hours? If you see that women are going to be fighting, support them, post them. If you once fought them and they were your rival, it's okay. Support each other. Support each other. Show, if you're local at a fight, go support the women fights. The best thing, the beautiful thing about boxing is that we all become family. So we need to learn to get along. We need to learn to respect each other, and most importantly, support each other. And I really, truly hope that everyone that leaves this event and walks out with a different mentality, where we can actually respect, support each other. Who cares if you're rivals or different promoters or matchmakers? Support each other, because that's the only way this sport is going to grow overall.
I just spoke with Coach G about that earlier before we walked in, and we're better off as women banding together. Whether, yes, it is healthy competition, you're going to fight each other, you're going to punch each other in the face, but women are stronger together. And in touch of what Christina Poncher said earlier, we're stronger together. I mean, that's all we have. Women are stronger together. We are powerful, we're phenomenal. We are a powerhouse.
Can I add something? So when my sister, because it's actually her baby, Beautiful Brawlers, and when she started, and then I joined forces later on. Not only was it the platform for the shows and the sparring and the camps, but we would also have fundraisers, and we'd raise money not only for the shows, we were raising money for girls going to nationals, going to Olympic trials, and I had no problem asking for money because I know it was going for the girls. But it was also, we'd have at Babyface Boxing, we'd have media day where the girls would come and we'd have media, and all the girls would come and spar, get their training in, but they'd get to practice interviewing. So we are doing things across the board to get these girls involved and get them ready. I mean, it's pretty incredible. And behind the scenes in social media, and I could just say for me, is that I'm talking to so many people and coaches and parents and the girls, and when they're underage, I do talk to the parents, that behind the scenes on the DMs and stuff, I mean, they're sending me things, I'm sending them things. The communication is so open because they want their daughters out there. So there's a lot of networking behind the scenes. It's not just me grabbing pictures and grabbing, I take a lot of my own pictures and travel, but I'm grabbing other people's pictures, not, promoters, coaches, parents. There's a lot going on behind the scenes to get these girls out there. And there's a lot of support, and that's what people don't see. And I know a lot of you out there, we do talk. There's a lot, like Stephanie. I mean, there's so many girls out there that I talk to in fighters because we're all working together just to get their names out there.
I do agree with you because I'm in media, and the one thing I do appreciate that you take the time with your fighters to teach them media training, because there's so many boxers that cannot answer a simple question. But I know that they can fight really well, but you have to answer questions. That's just part of the job. And also being technologically savvy. Learn to post, tweet about your fights, tweet about the women's fights, because someone told me earlier today, I didn't know about the WBC summit, and they were in Vegas, and they're in boxing. And I'm thinking, it just needs to be spread out. And
what does that tell you? What does that little comment tell you? I'll tell you what it says, that there's a lot of jobs even outside of the ring. There's room for everybody. There's room for everybody to support each other. There's room for more photographers, more reporters, more journalists. There's room for everyone. There is only one Christina Poncher. There is only one Jill Diamond. There is only one Cynthia Conte, one Jelena, one Mia St. John. Nobody's trying to take anybody's jobs. We can all work together, support each other. You know very well that I have a big platform, and I collab with everybody because I'm not trying to compete with Fight Hype or anybody. No, I want everybody to grow. So if anybody wants to collab with Supreme Boxing, because we'll collab with everybody, because we just want everybody to rise and grow big.
Collabing
and
with
I
you.
just saw Pepe Toño somewhere around here. If you want to learn more about your social media, he has like this little marketing package. I'm not sure where Pepe Toño is right now, but if you're a fighter and you want to learn how to handle your social media, he'll send it to you. I think it's a WBC social media handbook type of thing, and I think it's important for every fighter to have it.
Yeah, there's some great fighters out there that have amazing social media. But when I see some social media that I don't think is all that great, I don't have any problem going into the girl and telling her, hey, you should take that down, or hey, I don't have a problem with it at all. Like, I don't have a problem asking for money for the girls either.
You're a fundraiser, so. All right, now one thing that we talk about, because boxing is always about health and safety for the amateurs for females. How does the WBC address health concerns specific to female athletes, such as injury prevention, hormonal considerations, and overall well-being? Because mental health is a very big thing, especially for women.
Well, I know WBC University has talks that everybody can join for free. You just go to follow WBC University. They actually have a whole, I don't know if Xochitl is here, but where do they go to get for the talks, for the psychology talks, mental health?
In May, we are going to have, all May is dedicated for mental health, and we have every Thursday, 12.
In May, they have dedicated to mental health. Oh. Thanks. Thanks.
Sorry, okay. In May, of course, Jill, she's the head of the task force here. But in May, we have a WBC University. All the month is dedicated for mental health, and you all are invited, of course. And we have some courses, Mind of a Champion, Mental Footer, and many, many testimonies of people like you guys that you are going to be welcome to join us during that month.
Can you put that in a social media post and also on the website for people?
Of course,
Thank you.
of course. And we'll share it with Nancy, and then she can share it.
Can I say one thing about the WBC? Not only do they educate us at summits, but the WBC is not afraid to talk about the issues. And even though there's issues that other people do not want to talk about, 2-minute rounds, 3-minute rounds, they will not change their values. We follow those values, but bringing up the chromosomes today, you know, it takes a lot of courage, and it's important to talk about those things that are important to women. And not to bring up any controversies, but to talk about things professionally, and just to have an education for the other girls to hear what we're talking about and to know their values. We will not fight men. I mean, that's huge.
It feels great to have the WBC on our side when it comes to that. And just to make it quick, I mean, my social media has been taken down. I had my Facebook taken down for talking about Title IX. That was in 2023, and then last spring, my Instagram, they sent me a pop-up message that said if I spoke about Title IX, they were gonna take that as well, which I did. I dropped it because that is for the girls, it's for the boxers. So, and sometimes I felt really alone talking about it when it's just us, and I felt like there was no one listening, or I just felt very alone. But to know that the WBC feels the same way I do and is not afraid to talk about it and brought it up here, it just makes me feel, it really made me feel a lot stronger. And I think it's gonna make me stronger talking about it, because I won't back down.
I think that was the elephant in the room. There were a couple topics that were finally actually brought up, and applied to Mauricio for bringing it up, and Christy Martin, because, and applaud, what was her name? The lady, Brianda and Flo, talking about their stories.
And if it gives me strength, I hope all of you have the WBC feel like they're on your backs, and don't be afraid, because we really need to stick together on this, and the WBC is on your side to give us strength.
And if you have any doubts, tweet Mauricio and he'll answer you. Or email contact, what is it, Jill? contact@wbcboxing.com.
Now we have the support. We always have that strong team behind us, the support of the role of coaches and mentors in women's boxing. How important is mentorship and support from male and female coaches in the development of female boxers? I'll ask you, since you're a trainer.
The most important thing that happened with us was a bad situation in gymnastics in the Olympics. At that point, USA Boxing needed to bring on female coaches. We got opportunity from men who gave us those opportunities, and whatever we did with that, we ran with it. I mean, I keep on talking about Coach G, but we were there. We know there's, you know, and then they talk about, people talk about we need more female coaches. Well, we're here. Accept us. We've learned from you. So if we're not good, you're the ones who taught us. We didn't learn from other women. We learned from men. So we thank those men. We appreciate you. And now we want opportunities too, because we're taking it to the next level.
Nancy, you want, okay. Well, I was just gonna ask, what can be done to increase the number of qualified coaches for women's boxing? I wanted to say specifically female coaches, because there's not that many that I've interviewed or I've come in contact with, like a handful, maybe, yeah. Yeah.
It's a tough job. Being a coach is a tough job. You're not gonna make everybody happy. As a female, sometimes they think you're not good enough, but guess what? Some of us were raised by fathers who were boxers, so we were born and bred into this. We are good enough. You need enough confident women to get out there and do what their passion is, and don't let anybody stop you. But we need those women to come out of the woodwork. We need those boxers that need to find their place after boxing and to become coaches, because there's very few of us. There is. I mean, the numbers are small, and we just got to let it grow. And the coaches, the female coaches that are there, you know, we're all helping each other out. We all help each other out. We just need more of us, because we've got a long list of things to do. And we can't do everything, because we got to go home, cook, clean, and we got to take care of our children, and we got to be coaches, and we got to be mamas, but we still, that's our passion, and that's what our purpose is. And once you become a female coach, you know that that's what your purpose is. You don't stop.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead, Martha.
Yeah, so I mean, I never been an amateur boxer. I went straight to professional boxing. But now that I'm with Blanca and she's a trainer, I mean, I've learned a lot from her just in the amateurs. Because nowadays you got to treat kids differently than when I was boxing. You know, before it used to be like straightforward. Listen, this is what you got to do. Now it's like, oh, we got to tell them differently because we don't want to hurt their feelings. So I'm learning a lot, even though, you know. And so every time I'm with her, I'm like, listen, you got to talk to that girl, let her know what's up, because I don't know if I'm going to be saying it correctly or I'm going to hurt her feelings. So I mean, it's very, you know, I'm learning a lot.
Is it tough training a female over a male?
No, it's not tough. It's just now the new generation. It's not the
Gen Z.
same.
The Gen Z.
They're soft. You know,
Don't talk
before.
to me like that.
Yeah, we used to. I mean, my
Don't
coach
hit
used
me
to
like
scream
that.
at me, like almost spit at me, like, "What the fuck you doing?"
Slapped in the corner.
Yeah, like, what the hell you doing? And now it's like, oh, we can't do that. It's, you know, yeah. So, you know, I'm learning a lot. I mean, you know, I've been with her for a long time, but I'm still learning. You know, the process of amateurs in the new generation. So.
What is your favorite part about training women at a young age?
It's exciting.
Can I say this without hurting anybody's feelings? Sorry for the men. When they're not on their periods. How's that? Because that's when they love life. They're raging certain times of the month. It's hard to train them then. But women always work hard. They always work hard. And when they don't, you just got, you know, you got to push them because it's a beautiful thing. It's my best friend right there.
Yes. Wait.
I've got a big mouth. I was sort of like Christy. I couldn't train it because I'm like you, old school. It's like, dude, you can't hit water if you're thrown off a boat. So you need to find a different job. But I just want to say that I have trained a little bit of men and women, and there's sometimes not 1 week a month when the little boys aren't on their period.
Yep. Say that louder.
Hey, but also I coach men, and I didn't realize how many men love female coaches. Just so you know, we treat them differently. We give them a lot of love, but not that way, but we give them a lot of like heartfelt coaching, and we tell them things the way other men won't. You know, we're a little bit softer on that side, but we train them just as hard. Yeah, I think they're soft sometimes too.
No. I have a question over here.
Who has a statement?
Yeah, it's my time of the month, so I'm sorry. I'm very emotional right now, okay? And I just want to say that, you know, I'm trained by my wife, and I've been trained with so many trainers in the past, but the way a woman describes a particular strategy is just on a different level in details, and so that's why I gotta say, Shug, you're a great trainer as well, but when it comes down to details, you know, you're on your rag all the time though. But you know, with her, you know, with my wife, she's very meticulous when it comes down to strategy, to many things that a lot of men don't see. We, you know, with no offense, Shug, you're great. You're a great coach. I love you, man. I'm just kidding. There is a particular things that men delivers when it comes down to strategy. But when a woman sees things, she sees things in a different light. The whole body, position of the feet, just everything else. Because I've trained with many, as you know, but with her, she's always mentioned the foot placement, the this and this and that. That I don't really see that because we're so upper body in terms of the way we fight. You know, I've had 50 fights, and I've had numerous amateur fights as well, but we don't see it in that aspect of the way a woman explains things. But yeah, I love you, Shug. No, I'm just kidding. But so I'll be training with Sugar, by the way, and with her as well. So, but these guys are just incredible. But in all seriousness, women are very detailed when it comes down to it. And men have their own particular things as well, which is incredible as well when it comes down to it. But in a different light, women's put an emphasis on what I've been trained to do. And it's incredible when it comes down to that, just to see a different version of an explanation.
Thank you. Well, I have to wrap up. Oh, please.
I just think it's, I was a matchmaker for 15 years at Golden Boy. When it first was brought to me about signing our first female fighter, it was a little bit of nerves, ignorance of where am I going to find opponents, where's that pool to make even matches. After Christy, after Mia, U.S. boxing for females died down because there wasn't that next generation. Right? It went to Germany, it went to Mexico. Mexico had tremendous fighters, as we know now, but it wasn't in the US. Asia, but we had to catch up with the times. As soon as we signed our first, then came many of who were here today, who were here yesterday, had the pleasure of working with. And it became a mission on my part to put on every card a women's fight. Why? Because you guys were looking for that opportunity that wasn't given. You had to fight for it. Why? Because you guys didn't worry about how big, how tall, how much, how left, right. They were just saying, what's the date? And give me the opportunity. I became a huge fan. And a huge fan because you said it earlier, you had to go home and make food, take care, change diapers. You weren't just a fighter, you were a mother, a wife, working. As one of my favorite fighters, I think she left, Adelaida, there she is. This is a woman that I became a fan, not from watching her fight in the ring, but her story outside the ring. Quit boxing for almost 10 years to raise her children, and then came back after almost 10 years out and became a world champion. That is a world champion in and out of the ring. And that to me gives you all the respect. Keep fighting, keep making boxing is bigger than ever, women's boxing now in America, and that's why we're seeing these purses that you all deserve. Thank you.
Okay, so we are going to wrap it. Oh, I'm sorry.
Good evening. Ladies, as y'all know, I'm a referee. I've been an advocate for women's boxing since my granddaughters, my daughters. I've had the pleasure and the opportunity to work with all these ladies up here, beautiful brawlers. But there was something that really caught my attention today. As I seen our Argentinian referee of the year, I would love to, even though I'm a referee, see more women referees out there because I think you have the skill and the mindset. So I'm saying step up. You're stepping up as coaches, as trainers, promoters. I kindly ask you, go to the next level and keep on building because you got me in your corner. I love y'all.
On that note, we are going to wrap up the panel. Thank you, Lupe Gutierrez. Thank you, Nancy Rodriguez. Thank you, Blanca Gutierrez. And thank you, Martha Salazar, for sitting with me and talking about women in the amateurs and just women in general in boxing. I cannot wait to see the future of these ladies in here and the future of women's boxing in general. So thank you, ladies. I appreciate you.
While we present the medals to all the panelists, I would like to take this opportunity, Cynthia, to acknowledge you. I met you long time ago and you have been an unbelievable supporter of boxing, being a woman, being always classy, hardworking, and this panel was so unbelievably taken. You have great talent. You are very special, very good in all aspects, and this is a little something for you to remember this convention.